P Diddy has been indicted on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges, but that's just the beginning. There are 47 shocking allegations against the music icon, some going back decades. In this video, we'll break down these accusations and explore what they could mean for Diddy's future. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Diddy is accused of organizing a sex trafficking operation where women were forced into sexual acts through manipulation, coercion, and threats. These victims, often unnamed, were allegedly subjected to abusive and exploitative situations under Diddy's control. Racketeering conspiracy. Prosecutors claim that Diddy orchestrated an organized crime ring, known as the Combs Enterprise, which engaged in racketeering activities, including sex trafficking, forced labor, and gun trafficking, with multiple unnamed women involved as victims. Forced labor. Diddy allegedly forced women, particularly those under his control, into performing non-consensual sexual labor, often under threat or coercion. These acts were for his personal gain and entertainment, as detailed in the federal indictment. Kidnapping. The indictment alleges that Diddy kidnapped women by keeping them hidden in locations, often for days, to recover from injuries inflicted during abuse. He ensured they remained out of the public eye to prevent the abuse from being exposed. Arson. Cassie, Diddy's former girlfriend, revealed that Diddy plotted to blow up rapper Kid Cudi's car in 2012 after becoming jealous of her interactions with him. Kid Cudi's car was later destroyed in an explosion, confirming the violent nature of the accusation. Bribery. Diddy is accused of offering bribes to individuals to cover up his illegal activities. These bribes were allegedly used to suppress evidence and silence those who might expose his behavior. Obstruction of justice. The indictment accuses Diddy of obstructing justice by tampering with evidence, intimidating witnesses, and manipulating the legal system to avoid accountability for his actions. Physical abuse. Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, accused him of repeatedly assaulting her, including throwing, punching, and dragging her. One assault was caught on video at a hotel. Other unnamed women have also claimed similar physical abuse. The grooming tactics. Diddy is alleged to have used psychological manipulation to groom women into abusive and exploitative situations, preying on their vulnerabilities and gradually gaining control over their lives. Organizing freak-off sex sessions. Diddy allegedly organized sex parties called freak-offs where women were coerced into performing sexual acts. These sessions involved prostitutes, and Diddy reportedly directed, watched, and sometimes recorded these performances. Drugging victims. Several victims, including Jane Doe and Cassie, allege that Diddy drugged them to render them compliant during sexual sessions. Lil Rod, a producer, also claims that Diddy drugged him during their interactions to manipulate him into engaging in sexual acts. Recording sex acts without consent. Diddy is accused of recording sexual encounters without the victim's consent. Joy Dickerson-Neal alleges that Diddy recorded her rape and shared the footage with others. Cassie also stated that Diddy recorded her sexual acts with prostitutes. Forcing victims to carry illegal firearms. Cassie claims that Diddy forced her to carry his guns in her purse on multiple occasions, using this to assert control over her and demonstrate his power. Jane Doe's allegation. Jane Doe alleges that Diddy flew her from Michigan to New York when she was 17 and then drugged and raped her. This incident occurred in 2003, and Jane Doe later filed a civil suit against Diddy in 2023. Rape of Liza Gardner. Liza Gardner claims that Diddy raped her after giving her alcohol at a party in New York in 1990. During this incident, another man also allegedly raped her. Gardner filed a lawsuit under the New York Survivors Act in 2023. Rape of Joy Dickerson-Neal. Joy Dickerson-Neal alleges that Diddy raped her in 1991 and secretly recorded the assault without her consent. She claims that Diddy showed the video to others, constituting revenge porn. A revenge porn. Diddy is accused of distributing recordings of sexual encounters, including the rape of Joy Dickerson-Neal, without the victim's consent. These recordings were allegedly shown to others as a form of blackmail and humiliation. Forcing Cassie to hold his gun. Cassie alleges that Diddy forced her to carry his illegal firearms on at least 2 occasions, using this act to reinforce his control over her and to remind her of his dangerous nature. Physical abuse of Cassie. In addition to emotional abuse, Cassie claims that Diddy physically assaulted her multiple times during their relationship, leaving her bruised and forcing her to hide in hotels for days until her injuries healed. Rape of Cassie. Cassie has accused Diddy of raping her during their relationship, often coercing her into non-consensual sexual acts while he exerted control over her through violence and threats. Forcing Cassie to have sex with prostitutes. Cassie alleges that Diddy forced her to engage in sexual acts with prostitutes, which he sometimes recorded. These incidents were used as a means to control and humiliate her. Kid Cudi car bomb incident. Diddy allegedly planned to blow up Kid Cudi's car after becoming jealous of Cassie's relationship with him. In 2012, Kid Cudi's car was destroyed in an explosion, backing up Cassie's claims of Diddy's violent jealousy. Drugging and sexually assaulting Lil Rod. Lil Rod, a music producer, claims that Diddy drugged and sexually assaulted him. He also alleges that Diddy coerced him into engaging in compromising sexual situations, using drugs and threats to control him. Grooming Lil Rod for gay sex. Diddy is accused of grooming Lil Rod for gay sexual encounters, pressuring him into situations beyond his control and manipulating him through threats and coercion. Forcing Lil Rod to engage in prostitution. Lil Rod claims that Diddy forced him to engage in sex with prostitutes, drugging him to comply with these non-consensual acts. Gun and drug trafficking. Diddy is alleged to have been involved in trafficking guns and drugs as part of his criminal enterprise. Victims and associates were coerced into transporting firearms and drugs as part of Diddy's illegal activities. Cover-up of the 1999 New York nightclub shooting. Diddy is accused of covering up a 1999 nightclub shooting by forcing his artist, Shine, to take the blame. Multiple individuals were injured during the shooting, and Diddy allegedly played a key role in suppressing the truth. Involving Jennifer Lopez in the 1999 nightclub shooting. Diddy allegedly required his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, to transport his illegal firearm into the nightclub on the night of the 1999 shooting, making her an unwitting accomplice. Cover-up of a 2022 Chalice Studios shooting. In 2022, a shooting took place outside Diddy's Chalice Studios. Diddy allegedly covered it up by instructing Lil Rod and others to lie to the police, claiming that it was a drive-by shooting, when in fact it occurred on the premises. Christian Combs alleged sexual assault. Diddy's son, Christian Combs, is accused of sexually assaulting a woman named Grace Omar K. on a yacht in 2022. Diddy allegedly facilitated the situation, contributing to the environment in which the assault occurred. Drugging and assaulting Crystal McKinney. Former model Crystal McKinney alleges that Diddy drugged and sexually assaulted her in 2003 at his New York studio. She filed a civil suit against Diddy in 2023, claiming that he had taken advantage of her. Underpaying members of Danity Kane. Members of the girl group Danity Kane, including Aubrey O'Day, have accused Diddy of financially exploiting them by underpaying them for their work and not compensating them fairly for their music and contributions to the group's success, offering Aubrey O'Day publishing rights in exchange for silence. Diddy allegedly offered Aubrey O'Day the publishing rights to her songs if she signed a non-disclosure agreement (NDA) that would prevent her from speaking out publicly about any wrongdoing or abuse she experienced while working with him. She refused to sign due to the unfair nature of the agreement. Verbal and sexual abuse of Dawn Richard. Danity Kane member Dawn Richard has accused Diddy of verbally abusing her and sexually harassing her during her time in the group. She claims that the emotional distress she endured was severe and that Diddy fostered a toxic working environment. Sex trafficking across state lines. Diddy is accused of transporting women, including sex workers, across state lines for the purpose of engaging in commercial sex acts. This transportation allegedly occurred as part of his broader sex trafficking operations. Recording and storing evidence of illegal activity. Diddy is alleged to have recorded hours of illegal activities, including sex, drug use, and firearm possession, often without the victim's knowledge. These recordings were stored for personal use, blackmail, or as leverage against the victims. Intimidating victims into silence. Several victims, including Cassie, Jane Doe, and Lil Rod, have claimed that Diddy used intimidation and threats to prevent them from speaking out about the abuse they experienced. This included threats of violence and the use of incriminating recordings to blackmail them into silence. Suppression of evidence by associates. Diddy's associates allegedly helped suppress evidence of his criminal activities, including destroying incriminating footage, tampering with evidence, and manipulating situations to cover up Diddy's illegal behavior. Forcing victims to recover from drug use with IV drips. After coercing victims into drug use during his freak-off sex sessions, Diddy allegedly provided IV drips to help them recover from the physical exertion and the effects of drugs, further demonstrating his control over their bodies. Manipulating audio and video footage. Diddy is accused of manipulating and editing recordings of his illegal activities, ensuring that the footage couldn't be used against him in court or by his victims as evidence of his abusive behavior. Threatening victims with exposure. Diddy allegedly threatened to release compromising videos of victims as a form of blackmail, using the potential public exposure of their participation in sexual or illegal activities to ensure their silence and compliance. Involvement of his associates in procuring sex workers. Diddy's team, including close associates, were reportedly responsible for procuring sex workers for his freak-off sessions. These individuals also booked hotels and prepared rooms with necessary items for these encounters. Emotionally manipulating victims. Diddy allegedly emotionally manipulated his victims, particularly women like Cassie and Jane Doe, by exploiting their emotional vulnerabilities. This manipulation made it difficult for them to leave or resist his abusive influence. Recording illegal activities for blackmail. Diddy is accused of recording illegal activities involving his victims, such as drug use and prostitution, with the intention of using the recordings as blackmail to keep them silent or to control them in future interactions. Enforcing non-disclosure agreements. Diddy allegedly pressured individuals, such as artists Aubrey O'Day and Dawn Richard, into signing NDAs that prevented them from ever discussing his abusive or exploitative behavior publicly. These agreements were reportedly used to suppress any potential lawsuits or media exposure. Coercing individuals into participating in illegal activities. Diddy is accused of coercing individuals, including Lil Rod and Cassie, into engaging in illegal activities such as drug use, prostitution, and the possession and transportation of firearms, often through threats, intimidation, and manipulation. Creating a culture of fear among associates. Diddy allegedly created a culture of fear within his inner circle, where associates were too afraid to speak out against his actions. They were coerced into assisting with his illegal activities and covering up evidence, fearing retaliation or career repercussions. The accusations against P Diddy Sean Combs have the potential to severely impact both his personal life and professional career. Here are the key areas where the impact is likely to be felt. The legal consequences. Criminal prosecution. The federal charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, forced labor, and other serious crimes could lead to lengthy prison sentences if Diddy is convicted. The RICO Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act charges alone carry significant penalties. If found guilty, Diddy could face decades behind bars. Civil lawsuits. Multiple civil lawsuits have already been filed by victims, including Cassie, Jane Doe, and others. These lawsuits could result in significant financial penalties, including large settlements or damages awarded to victims. Even if some cases are settled out of court, they can still drain Diddy's resources and reputation. Financial losses. Legal fees, settlements, and potential fines will likely have a heavy financial toll. Additionally, freezing of assets or seizures could happen as part of a criminal conviction, depending on the outcomes of investigations into his finances. And damage to reputation, public image. Diddy's public image as a music mogul, entrepreneur, and philanthropist will be severely tarnished. Even though he has maintained his innocence, the mere association with such serious accusations will alienate many fans and industry peers. His once respected legacy could now be permanently stained by the ongoing accusations. End of icon status. Diddy has been celebrated for decades as a cultural icon, receiving awards and recognition like the Lifetime Achievement Award at the VMAs. These accusations could erase that legacy and reframe him in the public eye as a predator and abuser, similar to other high-profile figures who have fallen from grace. Impact on business ventures. Loss of business deals and partnerships. Diddy's business ventures, such as his music label Bad Boy Records, his media company Revolt TV, and his partnerships in the fashion, spirits Ciroc Vodka, and entertainment industries, will likely suffer. Companies and brands often distance themselves from individuals involved in criminal scandals to avoid damaging their own reputations. Endorsements and sponsorships. Major brands and endorsement deals are likely to be canceled or suspended as companies will not want to associate their products with someone accused of sex trafficking, abuse, and other heinous crimes. Career halt. Diddy's involvement in new business opportunities, music releases, or entertainment projects will likely come to a complete halt. It's unlikely that anyone will invest in or collaborate with him while these accusations are unresolved. Financial losses. Loss of revenue streams. Revenue from music royalties, businesses, and brand endorsements will likely decline as his name becomes more synonymous with the accusations. Existing ventures such as Revolt TV and his other business investments could see financial strain or collapse. Lawsuits and settlements. Civil lawsuits could result in millions of dollars in settlements or judgments against Diddy. Combined with the potential fallout of severed business ties, Diddy's financial empire could crumble, significantly reducing his wealth. Personal relationships. Strained family relationships. Public scrutiny and legal battles may affect Diddy's relationships with his family, including his children. His image as a family man, which his legal team has emphasized, will be called into question. Isolation from the industry. Many of Diddy's long-standing relationships in the music and entertainment industry could deteriorate as peers distance themselves to protect their own careers and reputations. The music and entertainment industries are quick to ostracize individuals tied to allegations of abuse or misconduct. A cultural impact. Loss of influence. Diddy has been a major influencer in shaping the culture of hip-hop and music for decades. These accusations could lead to his exclusion from the cultural conversation, and younger generations may no longer look up to him as a pioneering figure. Removed from honors and legacy projects. There may be attempts to remove Diddy's name from awards, honors, or accolades he has received in the past. Cultural institutions may begin to distance themselves from him, attempting to minimize his historical impact in light of these accusations. Long-term career fallout. Cancelled future projects. Any upcoming projects, such as music albums, collaborations, or film productions, are likely to be cancelled or indefinitely postponed. Investors and creators will hesitate to engage in partnerships with Diddy until the legal issues are fully resolved. Blacklisted from industry. Even if Diddy isn't convicted, the weight of these accusations may lead to him being blacklisted from the entertainment and business communities. Industry executives, artists, and creatives will likely be reluctant to work with him due to the stigma attached to his name. Social media and public backlash. Boycotts. Fans and the general public could organize boycotts of Diddy's businesses, music, and affiliated brands. This public outcry could further erode his career and financial standing. Permanent reputation damage. In the era of social media, public perception can shift rapidly. The viral nature of these accusations and the ongoing discussion about his misconduct will make it difficult for Diddy to recover from the damage to his reputation, even if he avoids legal penalties. Impact on music legacy. Music legacy rewritten. Diddy's music contributions, which were once celebrated, could now be overshadowed by the allegations, just as R. Kelly's or Michael Jackson's legacies have been marred by allegations. Diddy's status in music history could be permanently altered, with fans and the industry re-evaluating his contributions. Loss of credibility. Diddy's involvement in philanthropic efforts and community projects, especially those aimed at supporting the black community, will lose credibility. His philanthropic image may be seen as hypocritical in light of the allegations, further damaging his public persona.